It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show on this Monday morning, right on time for our relationship chat with Dr. Eve. Now, navigating a relationship when there are two people in a household can be tricky enough, but then bringing in a tiny little human being into the mix can have a lot of impact. And of course, at the end of the pregnancy, that is only the beginning of a journey that involves a whole new bunch of changes for new parents.
That's right. So today we're asking the question, how do you prepare your relationship for a baby? Are you a new co-parent dealing with the changing roles and the patterns in your relationship? Well, that's why we have our relationship expert, Dr. Eve, in the building to help us discuss this topic, and our lines are open. So do give us a call with your questions or your comments. That number is 021 430 9881. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah,
We would
Dr.
love
Eve.
to hear from you. We would love to hear from you.
Always great to have you here.
Nice
All right.
to be here.
So let's start first with the conversations or the series of conversations and discussions that one can have or probably should have before the arrival of the baby, or maybe even before planning parenthood.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Because I wonder how many people have actually planned parenthood. And I think it's important to bring that into the discussion.
Yeah.
The context in which this baby appeared. Because that also makes an impact. If this was an intended pregnancy, unintended, was this something that was prepared for beforehand or not?
Yeah.
Because that's going to set the emotional tone for you before you actually have this baby arrive in terms of the impact on your relationship.
Yeah.
So also, if there has been a struggle to fall pregnant, then we know that you're kind of on a back foot if you've had to do some kind of infertility treatment before. There's already tension in the relationship because of that. Suddenly the pregnancy is there, and there's an enormous amount of expectation of joy. And I think generally, Zoe's smiling so beautifully, the expectation of joy is there for all of us. And then crash, boom,
Bang.
bang. Total chaos. So to answer your question,
Yes.
the conversation that should be had before, or maybe is had before, and there you are lying with your big belly, and you can have all these wonderful, intimate discussions around how we're going to parent and what we're going to do, how we're going to divide tasks, and how we're going to have sex afterwards, and how we're going to, get our family in to help us. And then there's just chaos. All of those conversations fall to nothing.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Eve, I was going to ask, what are some of the crucial topics? And you've
Yeah.
touched on a few of them. I mean, your stress levels are different, your
Yeah.
sleeping patterns are completely different. How can new parents or existing parents, navigate during that chaotic phase?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is to accept that there is going to be chaos. And it isn't going to be what we see on adverts around the happiness, the beautiful baby, the clean baby. It just isn't going to be like that. And I think the most important thing is to have support structures. You want to have family to come in and to help you. You want to have people bringing in food to help you. You really need as much help as you can get because there is chaos. It tumbles you in a way that you cannot ever anticipate being tumbled.
Yeah.
And so the intimacy that was there beforehand, and I'll come back to that, that's going to be disrupted enormously.
Yeah. All right. Well, as that African adage goes, it takes a
Village.
So 0214309881. The village is certainly open for discussion right now. So come into the LAPA. Let's discuss this with our relationship expert, Dr. Eve, how your relationship has been affected post-baby. Let us know. We'll be back again.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, we
You
learn
should try
things.
grilled avo.
We learn things every day here, grilled avo. And we're also learning about the importance of handling the relationship balance between mom and dad, especially just after the birth of the first baby, maybe even second baby. We're talking about how your relationship dynamics change after a baby. And Dr. Eve is here. And our lines are also open, 021-430-9881.
Dr. Eve, is it possible for parents to be ever completely prepared? I feel like these days there are all these books that's always been around, but now people are providing blogs and personal experiences and giving you the insight that the books never told you about.
Yeah.
Can you ever be 100% prepared for a baby?
No, but I think that those blogs are the new community. I think they're the new village. And I really would encourage women and men to get onto those blogs. When you're at home and you isolate, especially for women because so many women work today, and suddenly they're left at home with this infant and they feel incredibly afraid even. And especially for the many women who have postnatal depression, Zoe, that's very real. Turning to these community blogs can be a lifesaver where they feel that they reach out and there's somebody there, especially if they don't have family all around. So it's essential, I come back to the point of essential, to have the support that you can get to be able to just maintain yourself as an individual. And then how do we manage with the couplehood? Because that gets shattered. As I said, that is completely disrupted. No matter how much talking you do beforehand, the necessity of it, the fatigue of it. And I also just want to share around how men and women respond differently to it.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Because you were saying, Kat, you know, what happens to the guy? Is he going to feel left out?
Yeah, because
situation.
Maybe that's a challenge that people are facing out there.
I would imagine.
The fact that, like you said, many women work, many women choose to be stay-at-home moms. Dads go off to work to try and, you know, put bread on the table, and so that results in a certain kind of bond between mom and baby that dad might not necessarily feel with the child. How do couples successfully manage that dynamic to ensure that there's a balance, that they both equally feel connected and contributing towards the child's upbringing?
I like the word equal, because I always get a little uncomfortable when I read about the baby naturally needs the mother more. Like, why? Unless there's breastfeeding, why should the baby naturally need the mother more? That is just kind of what socialization has done to us. But anyway, let's look what the research says. And what the research says is that men and women respond differently to the impact of having a baby. So for women, their anxiety levels are much higher afterwards. They also feel much bigger disappointment and dissatisfaction in the relationship after having the baby. They feel let down, they feel that they are upset by the disruption to their relationship that happens. And also they have less interest in being sexual and intimate. For men, they still maintain an intimacy need. They still are interested in being sexual because their bodies haven't gone through, obviously, the same thing as what their wives or the women have gone through. Their stress levels have increased tremendously because of what you've just said, Kat. Suddenly, for a man, the instinct to provide and protect kicks in. Boom, bang, just like that. So he's much more driven to career, much more driven to go, I've got to earn some more money and I've got to take care of this family. So suddenly the weight sits on him to be able to provide more. And it's instinctive, it's not a blame thing. So it's interesting that they are detached from each other by these needs. She's feeling anxious, she's feeling upset around the anxiety of how to manage his baby. He feels his job is to be able to go and find money, be able to provide. And so they are in different places. How do they ever come together? And I do have some good ideas on how couples can stay together.
Oh, looking forward to hearing that insight from Dr. Eve. So don't go anywhere. And perhaps you've got a comment or a question, feel free to call us. That number is 021 430 9881.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Good breakfast show. It's Expresso. It's time for Relationship Talks. Dr. Eve joins us in the house, and our lines are also open. It's 021 430 9881. This morning, we're discussing how to navigate your relationship once you introduce a new baby into the mix. And Dr. Eve was earlier mentioning that the levels of anxiety, it increases, the levels of stress increases, but you also said there are ways to reduce that.
Yes. So what the research shows is if the partner shows the woman what's called fondness and admiration, it reduces her stress levels. This is a very essential, basic core of a relationship, showing fondness and admiration to each other mutually. So that was the one thing. The other thing is if you show respect and friendship to each other. And I quite like that, because it's not about, I want the intimacy, I want to be sexual, because those things are just not possible for a while. And for many couples they are. And I'd love to hear from viewers if that is what your experience was. People want to come home and they bond. Also, if the relationship was in a positive, good place before, the birth of a baby is not that negatively impactful. So the focus is on pre-planning to make sure that there is a relationship that feels solid. Your foundation must be good before. Others, you are pretty vulnerable to having a massive disruption afterwards. So remember, it's expressing fondness and admiration. Also, what the research shows is if the man is complaining, if he's critical to the partner, that makes her anxiety and her sense of dissatisfaction in the relationship go down even further. And that's quite easy to happen. And the reason why that's easy to happen is because there's constant fatigue. This couple are fatigued. And the brain doesn't like to be fatigued, because when there is fatigue, you're not rational. You're more explosive. There's more conflict. And that's why it's so important to have this structure, the support network there, so that you can take time out to nap, that you can take time out when you should be cooking or putting food on the table. Somebody's bringing food into you, ordering food in if you can afford it, but much better to have family members or friends that are set up beforehand, almost on a rotational basis, to say, come on in, provide meals for us for a while, give us some time just to have a nap, 20-minute nap, because the fatigue is going to kill you.
Yeah, all right. Well, very, very great advice there, Dr. Eve. And I guess there's lots more that we could talk about when it comes to all these different aspects, the support of family, support of friends, having the community or the village around to help you to raise your little one, you know, continue on with your relationship. So thank you very much for joining us. Unfortunately, I think that's all the time that we have, but you can continue engaging with Dr. Eve on social media. She is at @dr_Eve, and I know your Twitter is blowing up right now.
And Instagram, I
and
love
Instagram as well.
Instagram.
The boomerangs are lit. But thank you very much for engaging with us in this conversation today. Thank you very much.